We are back after, I'll call it a brief hiatus, but oh, these days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into 2 weeks, and it's been an appreciable number of weeks since I've seen my good friends here. This is East Texas University. We are using the Savage Worlds rule set. Savage Worlds brought to you by Shane Hensley and Clint Black. Thank you, gentlemen. And East Texas University, a fictitious college sort of on the border between eastern Texas and Louisiana, right there near the Big Thicket, one of the last, by the laws of science, the last remaining true jungle of North America. East Texas University brought to you by Preston DeBose and Ed Wetterman. Thank you, gentlemen. I'm going to thank Duff, who runs the Prater's Reject station, channel, presence on both YouTube and Twitch, among others. Offers a good smattering of good old fashioned 5e Dungeons and Dragons and some of the other game systems as well, Savage Worlds, as evidenced by our presence here tonight. Aliens, everything from long running, year long games, campaigns, to one shots. So I heartily and earnestly entreat the casual viewer to pop in and see what else Duff and his channel, Prater's Rejects, has to offer. Corey, my friend, you ran the campaign 3 years ago. We picked it up, blew the virtual dust off our character sheets. I put together what was going to be a 4 adventure, a 4 session set, sort of a rehash of our old characters brought up to sophomore year. But it's been so much fun. Here we are. I want to say this is session 16. Forgive me, give me a little latitude, plus or minus 1 session, but I think 16 is right. And Corey, you inspired us, you entertained us, you educated us, because that was my first foray into Savage Worlds. Amai, again, I thank you, Nightsteed, for the both of you just throwing all this precious artwork our way. Doodles, back of the napkin drawings, sketches, color prints, cartoons, dare I say, East Texas University Fighting Ravens t-shirts to help commemorate and give us just sort of a common garb as we endeavor to make these adventures of these intrepid college students out onto the YouTubes and interwebs and out for the casual viewers' enjoyment. So thank you for the artwork. Thank you for your hard work getting these t-shirts together. I love mine. Now I'm starting to regret not getting the sweatshirt as up here in Denver. It's cold. Looks like it, as Erica would say, y'all, it's fixing to snow. Um, so I don't know. I guess it's November 1st, so it was going to happen. One additional thank you today. It's to an artist on Deviant Art named Phil Cho, Philcho, who just has lots and lots of artwork, character sketches available for your downloading and viewing pleasure. And a lot of these students are, or a lot of these drawings are well representative of students or adults. They're superheroes in their normal human guise. If that makes any sense, it might not. But Phil Cho, if you're out there listening, I want to thank you. I've looked at some of your artwork because it's just a good representative of some of the characters that I may need tokens for. And just hundreds, hundreds of little pieces of character art. So I want to throw that shout out your way and thank you for all your hard work, which I'm going to stand on the shoulder of giants and try to make what's hard appear easy because I'm standing on those shoulders. And we had some trouble with OBS. It's been a kind of a comedy of errors the last couple of weeks. Moving to Unity, getting our feet wet with the Fantasy Grounds Unity release, their new souped up version, and having trouble linking it into OBS gave us some headaches. We had some other camera and microphone issues. We had one of our team got sick, so we had to miss a week. And it's good to finally see my friends again. These are not just people that I game with, but I like to think we share just a common bond, a little camaraderie, bringing this East Texas University milieu alive. Friends, I got East Texas University Studies Abroad. It was offered over, it wasn't really a kickstart, it was something akin to a Kickstarter where they got the funding, and I contributed and got the hardback book. And, if we get tired of, rustling around East Texas, we might take a foray into, what are the four areas? I know Costa Rica, the jungles, maybe Poland, and I think Great Britain, and it's got to be Italy. I was going to say France or Italy. It's got to be Italia. There has to be a foray into the sewer systems where perhaps some vampires or such may lurk. And with that said, I think we're all just about ready to kick it off. I'm going to go in no particular order. I'll just call the names as I see them, and just tell me something about what may have happened that's stuck in your mind since we played last. And if you don't remember what we played last, then that's okay. We'll just go to the next. So, Ava's player. Let me hear a little bit about what might have stuck in your memory the strongest since last we played.
A boy running up to our grand red truck in his undies painted with some kind of spray paint on his back. That poor kid. Oh my god. Good old Frederick Doyle. She was freaking out so hard and wanted this poor boy out of the truck so fast that she volunteered to go get his clothes back.
You think you were freaking out? Poor Frederick. The word nerd, black spray painted on his chest and stomach, and a yellow spray painted
So
stripe.
bad. I was like, oh no, poor kid. Like, doesn't deserve that treatment.
Running around in his tighty whities and his tennies. Most
Oh
on.
yeah, and Ava also mistaking the words fraternity and sorority and calling the frats sororities.
Yes, indeed. Could have happened to anyone. And
Man, when English is your second language.
Frederick was exceedingly lucky to be happened upon by the lot of us, by the lot of you and Erica on that given day, for he was in a, shall we say, compromising situation. Embarrassed, humiliated. So, yeah, yeah. And he's
Poor
firmly
guy.
convinced that you folk are circus performers, acrobats, prestigitators, prestidigitators, I think, and
Yeah.
budding magic act. So, okay, we'll go to
That
Shep
was
next.
funny.
Shep, anything stick out in your mind?
The performance check to cast the spider walk on Ava while making sure Frederick thought it was just live action role play.
It was very well done, and Ava essentially running up the side of that tree while trying to make it look like she was putting some effort into it. Again, that
Also, Ava crawling out the back so she wouldn't have to go past Frederick.
yeah, my first
Yes.
gosh, what was it, the old Joe Diffie song, Pickup Man? My first car was a pickup truck. Well, my first truck was like a Dodge Club Cab with a 318 in it, and it had the two seats in the back that are, I don't, I've heard them called bench seats. I don't think that's what they are. You flipped out the bottom uh, rung, this little loop that became the seat legs, and you flip them forward. So if you're seated on one of these, you're facing the other one across the cab, and your feet are basically touching.
What?
And it had like a latch window that you could open up like this, and it
Yes.
gave just about enough room for somebody to shimmy or scurry out the back.
Mm-hmm.
and back into the true
That's
cab of the
insane.
pickup truck. So
For sure.
shout out to Joe Diffie. There's something women like about a pickup man. Definitely definitely on my I guess that would be like 90s playlist, right next to Third Rock from the Sun, I think. So, okay, Sophia, what sticks out in your mind? I think I know what you're going to say, but I'll let you go
Oh,
first.
you do?
I do.
The last minute preparations for Ren Faire,
Okay, okay.
and
Yeah.
a little bit of regret over not calling. Who was it? Lord, I keep forgetting his name.
Mm-hmm.
The neighbor next door who gave me movie tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lenny.
Larry,
Mm-hmm.
Larry? Lenny? I think it
Lenny,
was Larry.
It's funny.
Jerry.
It's not Jerry. It started with an L. I'm pretty sure it's either Larry or Lenny.
It's funny. You swear that his name is Larry because all of you call him Larry, and you look at the tickets in that little envelope, got kind of crumpled at the bottom of your backpack. Opening it up, it says Lenny on it. And you question each other, and you're pretty sure his name was Larry. So somehow his name got changed to Lenny. It's just an unexplained type of thing. And you asked Erica about it, and her response was that she didn't know, as she waved to him. And in her Texas manner, she said, "Well, we howdied, but we ain't shook." So she had never been formally
Makes
introduced to
sense.
him. But all the times that you've come across him, he gave Shep that football helmet for a little bit
Yes.
of safety on the back of a street bike or a Vespa. It's just funny, but yes, his name seems to be Lenny, so you can imagine his name is Leonard, and
Yeah.
and
I
that
just figured he was wearing a leisure suit at some point.
in the land of the lounge lizards, as it were, many years ago. So the preparation for the Ren Fair is ongoing. Um, my my players just provide so much side information and sketches and clips and memes and sound bites and songs from YouTube and other various contributors. And one of the pictures that came across was the students in their Ren Fair outfits.
Oh, yeah.
It was just cute. Where would I have stored that? Under personalities, study group, Ava, Erica, leadership, Sophia, study group. Okay, I'll just show this one because it's cute. If I run across the other one, I'll definitely bring it up as well. This just reminded me of sort of a Polaroid that you would have some friends at a beach party on vacation. Snap this picture, and a couple months later, they're like, "Oh, here's a picture I took of you guys." It really captured the moment. So there the three of you are. Summer of '98, summer of 19 or 2000.
Yeah, right.
So very good. Now, Sophia,
Smoothed out.
I was half convinced that you were going to say that the most memorable incident of the last session was you stepping over the supine form of that woman, that ritualist, as she floundered in the sudsy, soapy, slippery puddle that you left, and picking up a book called Creighton's Compendium and clutching it with two hands as you stepped across and locked her as she tried to regain her footing and eventually found herself locked in to that area of the Robert E. Lee building and ended up jumping out a window.
Right.
R.E. Lee,
Mortal
Robert E.
danger is
Lee.
no match for social anxiety.
Certainly not. Certainly not. And
That's a great sentence.
Not in college.
I think where we will pick up on the front steps of, I know his last name is Manning. His name is Kenneth Manning. He was the dungeon master of this adventure that sort of turned left. He was running it for Frederick Doyle and a gentleman named Marcus Cannon played an elf, and the two players didn't get along, and things kind of went south, and they had to end the game as the two almost came to fisticuffs. And in some way, manner, shape, or form, each of these players, not Kenneth Manning, the DM, but Marcus Cannon, who played the elf, and Frederick Doyle, who played up the oh so cleverly named Kevin, the barbarian. Um, those two almost came to fisticuffs. So you're standing on the DM's front porch. Uh, your friend Frederick, who you helped get his clothes back, as the frat boys had left them hanging on a high limb out of reach in a stout oak tree on the property line between two of the frat houses. Oh, it was a solid, if not 14, we'll call it an even dozen feet up in the air. And he is going to collect his thoughts. He bids you farewell. He walks away towards East Texas University campus, leaving you with his character sheet of Kevin the Barbarian. And his character sketch shows a young plainsman or tribesman doing bicep curls with anvils. And he said that this guy followed him and then ended up taking up with the frat boys and joining in with the laughing at Frederick, at his pale, pasty self. And this barbarian seemed to fit right in with these frat boys as they were drinking from his curved, carved out drinking horn and laughing it up and probably performing feats of strength in the backyard where it always seems to be a party. And that's where we're going to pick up. Kenneth on his way out into his rusty Jetta with his girlfriend Jody, who was also a player. What did Jody play? I think Jody played a bard, maybe. Her name was Jody Stone. They jumped into the Jetta, pulled away, saying, it looks like you're fixing to set that thing afire. I don't think you should. I'm hoping to get the group together and maybe we can rectify this. And, I put a lot of work into this game. It'd be nice to get them all together and see if they can't iron out their differences, because it really is a heck of a cool adventure. But there's a fire warning just due to the dry nature of the state right now. This portion cautions you against lighting fires. If you're going to do anything with fire, do it like in a garage or something like that. Cement. Don't let that errant spark float away. So let's see. I would be remiss not to arm my good players with the coin of the Savage World's realms, the Benny. I'm going to reset Benny's. Oh, that's unfortunate for Ava. She actually lost a bit in translation, but that's okay.
Yeah, I had so many, and I don't remember how. But
that's a good dean and me, a good dean or me likes to reward the players and likes to keep the flow of humor and the game moving in the right direction, and good role playing, good trouble solving skills, innovative use of items or other, skills one might possess. Those are all worthwhile of a Benny in my mind. Shep, I believe we are still operating under the Lucky 7 draw for you. Is that correct? Do I owe you another Benny?
Yes.
Then I'll bump you up from 3 to 4. And while we're talking about Shep, why don't I draw a cursed effect card and see what the draw happens to be? Oh, it looks like a 6. It looks like a 6. It's a 6 of diamonds. Okay.
What do we got this time?
Yes, that's going to be unfortunate. That's the bad the bad breath or body odor, which
That's hilarious.
was so much fun. And
I'm so sorry.
just due to the fact that you are all going into town to do some shopping for your Ren Faire costume, I'm going to say that that goes into effect now. Savage Worlds has hindrances and edges. Hindrances are sort of bad things about your character, and edges are cool things that you can do, and they balance out. You might have a handful of hindrances like bad eyes, or you're lame in one foot, or you have a short temper, or you just are not able to figure out electronic devices, or you're clumsy, or you're small. These are all hindrances, and they go into sort of developing your character's personality. Some of them may be from birth, some of them might just be new things, such as, I was scared by a ghost, so now I have a phobia of, the supernatural. Edges, on the other hand, are the cool things that you use to buy off those hindrances. So those are like certain combat skills. First strike, being able to get that first punch or strike or kick in combat can pay off. You could be extraordinarily attractive. You could be one who is blessed with good test taking skills. Always good around midterms and finals. Hold that thought. So
Can we have Shep be sprayed when we go into the store with a bad batch of patchouli homemade body spray?
Oh no, I think you're going to smell much worse than that. In fact, the patchouli body spray might have been an attempt to cover up in some manner. But
Oh boy.
Because I mean, I'm just saying right now, we haven't done anything that really makes it come out in my
yeah,
mind
yeah.
as the player.
Unless he got so stressed that the ritual was going to get caught, he was sweating up a storm.
He
That
was.
could.
He was. I mean, Erica was trying to do her best. She's got D4s in a lot of her skills, but she was rolling hot last time.
I
She
know.
came in hot. She was trying to use her healing skill to sort of wipe
But by the way,
You're saying
patchouli
our D4s
stinks.
were
I'm
terrible.
sorry.
Does it? What's it smell like?
Mm.
Is it like a
It
Oh my
stinks. I
floral?
god.
remember it.
Is it like kimchi? Is it? Does it
Yeah.
burn like in a
No.
chemical way?
Patchouli is like it's a very much an acquired scent. I used to
Yes.
work with someone who wore it like on a regular basis, and I was like,
So did I.
I was not super
Oh,
into it. But I mean, it is definitely one of those things. Like some things have an acquired taste. Patchouli is
hmm
definitely an acquired scent.
what?
Like it's not. It falls into like this category of a very herbal kind of like spiced scent in some way.
Okay,
It's like potpourri
okay.
almost.
That's the only thing I could come up with was potpourri, which
Yeah,
is
like
usually
Like cinnamon?
kind of pleasant.
the person that I remember having it basically used it to cover up their other habit.
Okay,
That's what I remember.
okay.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because patchouli is like stereotypically something that a lot of people who smoke like
hmm
Okay.
weed
Okay.
because
So,
it's strong enough to kind of cover other scents.
all right,
but
y'all.
but there are people who don't do that but still wear it.
Yeah,
So
it got really popular around the
yeah.
late 90s, early 2000s.
Does it burn your nose when you smell it? Is it like no?
No,
No, it's just it's
it's very overpowering.
powering. Yes. You don't want to be in close proximity.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. I
it
just have a.
stinks.
I guess I'd have to. I'd have to experience to really appreciate it. I guess.
If you
Uh,
ever find something that has patchouli in it, give it a sniff and see how you feel because you might like it if you've never smelled it before.
Yeah. Basically, go to a Ren Fair. They used to have them everywhere in Ren Fairs.
okay, it's possible.
Mm.
Interesting. Interesting. All right.
But yeah, potpourri.
Let me just look at
Think of
this.
potpourri.
Look at this one other location for that drawing of the. Oh, there it is right there. There it is right there.
I have like a need. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
me just say that I like the Fantasy
I
Grounds
love that so
Unity.
much.
I like the Unity, the capabilities, the interface. It's similar to the old Fantasy Grounds, which they call Classic, but it's just different enough. And it takes me a while to remember there are two ways to get images into the API or into the user interface, and you can load it as assets, or you can just drop it into this image directory. That doesn't always seem to work. Sometimes from that image directory, you still have to load it as an asset, and it creates an image record for it. As a programmer, it makes sense to me. Um, Looks like they tried to, meet you halfway to make it easy to get them in, but nevertheless, here is the artwork. I'll pop up OBS just for a moment. Yeah, it shows nicely.
They
Shows
came out
nicely.
really cute. I was
Just a
really happy with
just a
them.
just a beautiful bit of artwork. Um, Ava, Sophia, and Shep. Well,
Yeah,
come on,
Ava
y'all.
Sophia.
You're just going to sit there, jaw jacket. Put that fire away. Let's hop in. Hop in, guys. Let's go downtown. All the good stuff's going to be taken. Their
To the
friend
thrift
Erica
store.
says.
And I need the
No.
good stuff.
So I would
Yes.
like,
That's
I would like each of you to make a role of your choice, which is going to be a skill check, and it's not going to so much indicate to me what you have made because these this character artwork, these little images of each of you are just so beautiful that that is what your costume is going to look like. But make me some sort of a check. I just want to make sure that you know the glue gun was good and hot when you put those wings together,
right.
or you didn't just happen to choose that spool of thread that was it was in the box that your grandmother gave your mother and your mother gave to you, and it's old and
Oh
frail
boy.
and it's just going to snap or unravel, or
Some
just let's just see if anything goes wrong, or could it be that just everything goes right? That happens occasionally as well. As a DM, I hate when that happens. The dean enjoys his chicanery and hijinks and a kerfuffle. Let's see. I'll give you a second to look at your scores. I'm going to bring up Erica's character sheet. Um, I want her to use fighting. That's her best skill, but I can't think of it. Mm, yeah, yeah. Just for reasons, she's going to use her riding skill, and she rolls a pair of fives. She says she's wounded. She's not wounded. Could that happen when you all were fighting?
Erica?
Yeah.
Erica
Uh,
wasn't with us
Why is
for
she?
any fights.
Was she? Oh, that's right. She was even at the hospital getting off work when you were fighting
Yeah.
the cop and Erwin
did you
Ravinowitz and Hector Martin.
did she get injured whenever the pranks were played on her?
No, I can't explain it. That's that's unfortunate.
You need to
It'll
get that looked at, Erica.
it'll come to me. It'll come
I
to me.
think
I
the
can't
glue gun got her good.
maybe burned herself, but nevertheless, with a five, the target number in Savage Worlds is a four, so that five, for our purposes here, is a success. So she has some success working with her. Uh,
That's one
just
that I had. I gotta draw Erica in her. What was she wearing?
you don't know.
Oh man, gotta give her that chainmail bikini with the chaps. Gosh.
As I've said earlier, hold that thought. Let's see. I bring her up. I guess I'll bring up the combat tracker, and I'll go to the party sheet, and I'll like try to add her to the combat tracker. No, do I just drag her? Whoosh, can I just drag her to the combat tracker? Do do. I want to get rid of that wound of hers. That seems to have worked, and it just places her there. And yeah, says she has a wound. I'm not sure what she did. I'll take it away. Try to even the playing field. Who else would like to roll? Well, who wants to roll next?
Mm, well, has been wearing for multiple Ren Fairs, so there's probably some things that need repairing and touch ups. So I'll use repair if
Wonderful.
that's okay.
Wonderful. We've paid for these skills. We should use them. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. A 6 is a success. Two more would have been with a raise, but we'll say, um, you know, uh, maybe when you were stepping into it, the heel of your foot was on the hem of the skirt as you pulled it up, not realizing your body weight, diminutive though you are, was on that hem, and you might have ripped it a little bit. It might have gotten torn somehow. Perhaps you had a little stain on it that you had to rub out with some OxyClean or something like that. So yeah, with that
There we
repair,
go.
you are spiffy. Now, are those are wings? Are they not? Yes, they have to be wings. I thought
Yeah,
it was
she's
just
got
like
little wings
a,
on.
a nice wide collar. Very well, nicely done, and very 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 cute.
She's so sparkly with all the glitter.
Shep and Sophia, who would like to roll next? Tell me what your role is and why, and make the roll.
I'll go.
Very good. Now you have certain advantages, do you not? Being, an art major, you have at least access to all sorts of just cool stuff. You're probably in with the in crowd as well. And I saw you disconnected.
I accidentally closed out of fantasy grounds.
Well, why don't you reconnect and we'll let Shep roll next.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Ship has a lot of stuff that's helpful for this.
Well, I mean, even
Oh boy.
I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but even a notice roll as you are looking through the various
Yeah.
walking sticks that are available, probably in like a bin
I'm
of umbrellas and canes and stuff. You look, you wade through them and you find that really nice walking stick that perfectly matches. Just kind of if it
yeah, I'm actually considering trying to make this very special, and I'm going to try to figure out how to rig the our matching semi-matching costumes with some electronics
oh,
to
I
make them
like it.
shimmer.
Snap.
I like it. You don't have that fat
Well, I've got them.
fat. Do you don't have the fat fingered hindrance that
No,
okay, good.
nope. That hindrance I don't have. I may stink right now, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'd like to see
let's
that.
see.
I'd like to see that roll, and then you could tell me. I think you'd probably want to run some filaments around the wings and make them like
I
glow
will
some way.
guinea that because I really want this to work.
Yeah, on a failure, I would say they would work just until you got to the Ren Fair, and then it stopped working.
And I'm trying again.
Yes, please use those resources.
There we go.
Okay, tell me what glows.
The the top of the walking stick.
Okay.
I refitted one of the top the not the crystal ball that came with them.
Hmm.
Put in some filaments and stuff like from one of those old not lava lamps. I can't think of what the other one was called.
I'm not
Oh,
sure.
it's just, but it's basically it's light up filaments,
Very good.
um, so that it's in a place where where we can push a button or touch it, so that it uses our body electricity to complete the circuit and make them light up when we want to.
I like it. I like it a lot. Sophia, I see you're back. What would
Yeah, I accidentally closed when I tried to grab my dice. I wasn't looking.
All right. See if you can use the power of periwinkle or other.
Um, I assume that since Sophia's really into art, she's in the craft store a lot. So I would like to use persuasion to just make sure I can like get some help to find every single little thing I need to put this thing together.
Yeah, I see that. Something like, "Oh, darling, I see you picked this set of glue sticks here. You don't want these glue sticks. Let me find you some better glue sticks that are more for fabric, because what you found was more for arts and crafts. But let me go find you that fabric glue stick. That's going to be what you need." And boy, with a 13, does she find the right material for you? Outstanding. You've
Awesome.
accomplished what you set out to find, which is the most appropriate art supply materials to really strengthen the seams and make it a rugged sort of costume, as well as elegant and attractive and colorful and
It's
beautiful as
wearable.
well. It certainly is. It certainly is. Now, Erica comes out from the back with it looks like something that's brown and furry, rolled up, tucked under her arm, with just the price tag showing. $7.25. Looks like one of the arms or legs is sort of dangling. She didn't wrap it up too well, and it looks like a paw, and it's dark and brown and furry. And she pays for it, and she's like, "Can I have a bag for that?" "Why, certainly, ma'am, certainly." I give her a bag to stuff it in, and she tucks it under her arm, and she's like, "No peeking, y'all.
Oh, not even a little look?
Not gonna be surprised." All right, and you all hop into Erica's truck, well known by the Pine Box Police Department and the local Golden County Sheriff's Department for parking illegally, speeding, expired uh, parking meters, and the like. Such is the luck of someone who has the trouble magnet hindrance, unfortunately. Oh, doesn't have that, so I'm just going to make a representative unskilled. Let's just see how it comes up. Oh, she aces it. Ha! Huh. She gets a 4. Nothing happens on the way back to campus as you're driving by. You know, driving by a police cruiser that's parked looking for speeders, and Erica's got that dial set right at 35 miles an hour, and the gremlins that seem to inhabit her drivetrain and her like acceleration system, her carburetor, don't engage and make her speed past the one of Pine Box's finest. So you all get back to campus. You start to steadily work on your costumes. Erica goes into her room and shuts the door. Mir has already acquired his costume. He's just going to be like a Saracen, like the Middle Eastern variant from that time period, probably with a short curved blade and a turban and a robe, with perhaps some colorful accoutrement to dress the costume up a little bit. And the next morning, midterm exams. Midterm exams. Are we at midterms? No, we are at final exams. Final examination time. It is time for us to see who is going to pass their final exams of their first semester of sophomore year with flying colors, earning accolades and recognition from their instructors, the professors, their proctors, perhaps the teacher's aide that is helping to teach a class or to present material to you, or who is going to just go down in flames, probably going on to academic probation of some sort, embarrassment from a semester's hard work, just never culminating in a just reward for all the study time and projects. Sophia, your art projects. Ava's chemistry labs. Shep's biochem labs. Papers. And of course the rote examinations that culminate in this final exam. You guys are going to be bushed. When these exams are over, you're going to need a little bit of the levity and relaxation and to blow some steam off at this Ren Faire at Paul Vanderhorn's house. Shep or Sophia, which one of you would like to make your uh, academics or science role first? Don't everyone speak out at once now.
I wasn't expecting this today.
I know.
Neither was I.
You see, a kind, benevolent dean would have warned you ahead of time. But I'm not that, alas.
I'll go first here.
Sophia, I'm going to give you a +1 to this academics role, and this is just due to the fact that you did such a marvelous bang-up job on that large mural that you did in, I think it's is it the William Greystone building? Don't quote me on that. Where Glenn McClanahan has his office of his deanship of the anthropology and archaeology
Definitely
department.
his building.
It was the big great lizards of the past, dinosaurs, two preparing to lock in combat, a third one eating leafy ferns, with all of the, in the background perhaps of a volcano and a bright sun and little caricatures of some of the friends that you have made and people that you know in the corners, just sort of built into what seems to be somebody making like a plaster cast of a dinosaur footprint, perhaps in one of the other corners, that inverted ziggurat of an archaeological dig where perhaps one of your friends or two of your friends are sifting through with one of those screening devices, leaving some relics in the box after all the dirt and sand and dust has sifted away. So I'm going to say, how about a +1 on this roll? You are all sophomores, which means you all intrinsically get a -1 to your roll as well, just because this ain't freshman year anymore, friends. So I think your academics, a 3. And because you're an art major, I think performance would be the role that you're going to make. But we'll take, yeah, performance.
Okay. So +1 to that?
So yeah, we're going to say performance, as it is the same as your academics. It's a wash. The die came up a 2. You would have gotten a +1 benefit for the mural and a -1 because you're a sophomore, making that a straight up 2. Would you like to roll again?
I would, yes.
You might have to hold on to a few of those bennies. You never know what your friends may do. So I'm seeing a +1, but not the -1. So I think that 3 is a wash, a +1, -1, not just a straight +1. In other words, I don't think that die roll took into account that you are a sophomore and should have gotten a -1 to that roll. And indeed, I'm just checking the rule. Indeed, sophomore. -1. Would you like to roll again?
I'm going to keep rolling, yes.
Okay, you may do so. +1 -1 is a wash. You particularly are going to be at a +0. Again, I see a 3 on the die. Are you putting a +1 in each time?
Should I not?
Not for this
I'll just
particular
leave it since
application.
actually it
Yeah,
cancels it out.
yeah, it should be a 0. So again, your roll is a 3. Oh, whatever that final exam project of yours is, gave you some last-minute issues.
Oh, what
I would like to roll. I'm going to try one more time.
Okay. These dice are swingy. A 15.
Wow.
It was what was your final project? What do you think it could be? I'm thinking sculpture, I'm thinking painting, anything. A collage, which you did at midterm, so
I can't do the same thing twice.
I think you could. But what tickles your fancy? Given the opportunity to do like any kind of art, what would you have done for this project?
Uh, well, given that it's probably like a recreation of one of the things we fought. What was it? The chupacabra in the plant house? Because Halloween,
Oh, yeah,
why
the
not?
greenhouse.
Like a tiny little sculpture.
I like it.
Clay.
So you've introduced not only the artistic artist's rendering aspects. This piece of art also just neatly folds in some of the very rich folklore of this region, this location in East Texas, where you have the influence of some of the Indian, like the Caddoan tribes, the Native American Indians. You've got that rich folklore from sort of the voodoo Caribbean um, sort of mysticism, but also up from Mexico, which is where I would believe your chupacabra legend would come from. So you've managed to introduce an aspect of the rich history of this land. How would you pose this chupacabra? You fought it. You're aware of the way its legs bend, sort of. It's very lupine. Is that the word for very wolf-like? But it is not a wolf.
I'd say crouching down, ready to pounce and rip and tear.
I do like it. Its jaws open, its fangs bare. It's probably hunched down, almost like a hyena or a dog would, as it prepares to pounce. Kind of it's low on its front legs, with its back sort of up in the air. And let's not forget the fact that it has these sharp quills, these spines that extrude from its back, almost like a porcupine when it's riled up. And you capture the essence of the chupacabra. And what would you entitle this? Like Le Chupacabra or something kind of in Spanish, or something more whimsical like a hidden foe, or Hunter's Night, something like that.
Uh, Nightmare defeated.
I like it. We'll,
Maybe.
we'll make it so. I would like you to pick up in the Fantasy Ground Unity user interface. I'd like you to pick up your D6, and I'd like you to to do that little mouse wheel roll that lets you roll 2d6. I think you pick up this six-sided die, holding the button down, you drag it to the die rolling area, and I think you right click one time, and that doubles it up. Oh, of course I managed to ace. Okay, I would like you to do that twice. Your first roll is a 3, and do it one more time. And a 9, a 3 and a 9. Because you rolled so well, a 15 is a success with 2 raises. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely saw 2 dice.
What that means is you get one of these 2d6 rolls, whichever one you like better. It was a success with 2 raises. With a 3, you got the teacher's pet, which means you've caught the eye of a professor. And this teacher's attitude towards you increases 1 level.
I don't want that again.
Okay. The 9 is a fun one. It's a windfall. Essentially, someone's going to offer you a one-time job, and it's going to pay like between $100 and $200.
Money.
I like the 9.
Okay. I'll make a note of that. Who would like to go next? Ava, I sprung final exams on the other 2 while you briefly stepped away. So we are in exam mode. And I will repeat that you are now sophomores, so your exams are done at a -1. Wait till you're seniors. I think it's -4. Yes. It goes 0 at freshman, -1 at sophomore, -2 at junior, -4 at senior. You're a,
We gotta have test taker.
yeah, you're a chemistry major.
Yes.
Your final exam, tell me, I'm thinking maybe some sort of research paper, perhaps a lab that has taken place over sort of the second part of the semester, kind of like growing something that'll take several weeks to perform. But I'm wide open if you want to describe to me what you think your chemistry exam consists of. Or you could just say it's just a test, and we'll make it so. Balancing equations.
I don't know much about chemistry off the top of my head, but I'd imagine it being more of a scientific or lab subject. Probably a lab that they've had to probably work on over the course of the semester.
Okay. Perhaps it's a multi-phase sort of a lab
Yeah.
where the results of your first one feed into the setup and the execution of the rest. Very good.
I think that makes sense to me.
I'd like you to make your science roll at a -1 due to the difficulty of your sophomore classes, the curricula.
Science.
A 6 is a success. You can either try to re-roll, in which case I will give you 2 rolls to determine the outcome of your past exams. Or you can take that success and roll 2d6, and I will tell you what your roll amounts to. I would not suggest.
Does my academics go into the science, or is that separate?
It does not. It is separate.
Oh, okay. So, I'll keep it as the success. I have to do 2d6 you said?
And add them together using that, that Fantasy Grounds where you drag the d6 and then you right click one time. It adds them together. A 5. Administrative privilege.
Oh boy.
Someone in administration likes you for now. You get a connections edge with a non-teacher until your next advance. That could be exceedingly useful if the person that takes an interest in you works in the library or like the research department. Heck, it could even be Sonia. It could be Sonia Alvarez.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like there was that one woman in the library.
Yes, Sonia with the white, stark white hair and a pixie cut, and those
Yeah.
almost hypnotic red framed eyeglasses. Very good. You have passed the first semester exam of sophomore year.
Huzzah.
Both of you have done well. Shep, let's see if we can continue with this amount of success.
Considering my previous luck, who knows?
Portia
Let's see.
having a bad time.
Yeah.
A D6
Why
in
couldn't?
science is not bad.
Nope, it's not. I'm just sitting here looking at this precog flashes and going, why couldn't you help me with this test? Okay.
Hmm. Boy. Oh, oh no.
Oh, and a crit fail.
Mm, mm,
Oh
mm, mm,
no.
mm, mm. You. Oh, well, tell me how you fail. I was thinking that you probably tried to
I
do.
got kicked out for smelling bad.
Mhm. That would be unfortunate. I was thinking you created like a wire diagram, a wire structure
Nope, the
representing a.
teacher wouldn't even look at it. It just held the funk.
Mm,
I
Funky
could
for
not bring
class.
it. I could not bring it into the classroom.
that is unfortunate. Um,
Dang.
a critical failure means you are on
Hmm.
academic probation, my friend. Certain instructors, professors, representatives of the school, perhaps the dean of your particular discipline, will look upon you with disfavor, and you will take a minus in all of your encounters with said individuals.
That's okay. It's the 90s. I know a
Dang.
lawyer.
Indeed, you do. Indeed, you certainly do.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh goodness.
We have we have. I don't want to say we've passed final exams.
You don't want me to raise this finger. Come on now.
We we have gotten through in some way
We
final
survived.
exams.
Finals.
But unfortunately, now it is time for enjoyment, perhaps a bit
Oh,
of levity, blow off some steam.
Hmm.
I was even considering saying
trust me, I should have. I knew I should have done academics.
should have been poli sci or something like that. Of course,
Uh,
sometimes the dice are good, sometimes they are not so good. It
no,
would be
no, I'm just going to be honest. That science one has not worked for me since I've started this character.
okay.
It
Hmm.
always rose low.
As
Pretty sure that's how I came to be.
Yeah, it's just funny.
Someone told me that science and computer technology was needed. And
Yep.
I was like, all right, I guess.
yeah, and in fact, for your final, Ava, I would imagine that there was a degree of computer programming, whether it was like scripting or maybe writing a couple subroutines in Fortran just to take your measurements and make all the computations, mean, median, and mode, and perhaps the
She's
you
a
know,
super nerd. She's going to get down to all the nitty gritty details.
yeah,
She wants to.
trying to program the spline of your data points to try to plot your scatter chart to a to a graph to make it predictable over time what may have happened. So final exams have gone. You have your costumes ready for the Renaissance Fair. Sophia, you know that there will be a grand opening of a old sort of 20s or 30s movie theater that is being reopened in town in Pine Box proper with as many of the old fixtures as they could recover or save or reupholster to give it that real cinematic feel back when, back in the days of maybe the Depression, when what little money one might have had, you spent it going to see a movie to just take your mind off of, the economy and the poverty and the hunger just for 2 hours. And it was an event. People would get dressed up um, just to
That's really neat.
go see
That's pretty cool.
their favorite actresses and actors portraying somebody and just giving you a little bit of a hiatus, however brief, from sort of a world in turmoil. A little post World War One. Still too early for World War Two, I think. With that, assassinations and political upheavals and bankruptcies and stockbrokers hurling themselves out of upper story windows of their office buildings when they lost everything that they owned.